Hey everybody, I am back. Looking to see. Got to make sure we're on the Facebook page. We have the tornado warning now for parts of Sabine Parish. So let's see. What the heck? Okay, cool. We're good. Tornado warning on that cell. Look at another one there popping near Florine. This is not what I expected. I'll say that straight out. So, and this cell is not tornadic. I'm just saying there's another cell popping there. That is the rotation on this cell that is over Newton County, Texas, moving up into Sabine County and Sabine Parish here in Louisiana and Texas. And this is going to run right up over Toledo Bend. So if you are out there, the south end of the lake near Toledo Bend Dam, that's where we're looking at this one coming in. But a tornado warning is now in effect. I'll get you the text on this one. Okay, 12. Oh, wait, this is the old one. Let's go to Shreveport. Okay. So the tornado warning, let me go, hold up just 1 second, get that text information for you. Okay, 12:13 p.m. Tornado warning for south central Sabine Parish in northwest Louisiana and southeastern Sabine County in eastern Texas. Sorry. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 19 miles southeast of Hemp Hill or 55 miles southwest of Natchitoches. This is moving north now at 35. I think they were a little off on that 75. I think it's closer to 35. It's fast, but it didn't look like it was quite that fast. Tornado and $50 sized hail. This is a small but powerful storm. And again, we have other cells we're going to be watching. There's other cells developing down here over southeast Texas, just to take the big view. It's not like this is the only game in town, so let me put it all in motion over the last half hour. You can see, though, these are mainly moving. And this is what I was talking about with the weaker wind shear. Obviously, there's enough, but the flow is mainly just straight out of the south. We're not seeing these moving toward the northeast. They're moving pretty much due north, maybe a little bit of a tilt toward the east, but you can also see there's the lake. Southern end of the lake right there, Toledo Bend Dam, is right around here, and then our camera site is right up here just west of Manny. So this storm is going to pass pretty close to that. Hopefully, what I'm hoping happens here is when it gets over the waters of Toledo Bend, where they are a little cooler, probably I would guess this time of year, I'm guessing, but I would think it's around time the white perch are spawning, so low to mid 60s is probably what I would guess. So that could do enough to rob some of the instability from this, and hopefully that is going to be the case. Let's go ahead, go over here, and see. This is okay. So what I'm gonna do is circle that area. So we have that little notch on the storm, and yeah, see, we're not seeing anything in that area, so that's good. Not seeing any sort of debris signature, but we are seeing clear rotation in this storm, and it's only about 2,500 feet off the ground. So that is low enough to be of concern. We've seen this thing hold together for quite a while, and that tornado warning was extended to the north, and this one goes until 12:45. SPC just issued a mesoscale discussion, and that's just a discussion on like an area of thunderstorms. It's not synoptic, which is the big picture. This is closer into like, maybe half the size of Louisiana or even smaller kind of deal. So they did one of those, and they said there's a 60% chance they're going to go with a tornado watch on this for West Louisiana and East Texas. Even though we only have that marginal risk, this mesoscale discussion, it includes, well, here, I'll show you. Let's see. I think I'll show you. Group, camera, elements. No. Perhaps I won't show you. But it's basically Natchitoches, Sabine, Vernon, and Beauregard Parish in our area. So something to keep an eye on, keep in the back of your mind as we go through this afternoon. We could be a little bit more severe than we were thinking. Here is your cell right now that is pretty much moving to the north, possibly even bending a little to the north-northwest, heading right up toward Toledo Bend Dam right now. Let me see if I have any sort of confirmation reports. I had not heard any of those yet, so I don't think so. And hopefully we won't see that. They issued the tornado warning. Okay, let me go back to this other chat room. Tornado watch is being drawn up as we speak. That is as of 2 minutes ago. So we are about to have a tornado watch for parts of the area, and life comes at you fast. That's all I can say. So there's your little cluster of storms down in southeast Texas, and what they're saying is they think this cluster could continue on toward the north, and we could see some issues with that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Toledo Bend right now. We have some rain out there. I faced the camera due south so we could see what was happening, and right now we're not seeing anything but gray skies. Let's go on the latest future track here. See what the latest round says. I'm thinking it's going to keep a lot of this to the west in the beginning, and then we're going to see those cells continue to try and make it further east. So West Louisiana, that corridor is where it kind of looks like things are going to get pretty active. So that's the area we're going to be watching closely here over the next several hours. That is the plan. All right, so let's go back to radar. There is your cell with the tornado warning. Didn't mean to get you excited that that had dissipated or disappeared. And this is going to move right up. Looks like it'll stay west of Toro. But if you are on the banks of Toledo Bend in southern Sabine Parish, north of Toro near Clare and Esto, you might want to go ahead and seek shelter right now. I think you should. We got a tornado warning in place. Oops, let's click off of that. Yeah, I'm still not seeing anything that says this is on the ground. But the shear swath, it shows a very clear shear swath. Let's put that in motion over the last half hour. And you can see as those reds start to perk up, that's when we get those warnings, and that is a sign of some pretty strong shear. This is just the base velocity looking at the wind velocities. Maybe a little less organized on that last scan, but still plenty to show there is the potential there for a tornado with this storm. This is one of those storms that it doesn't look like much. It's not huge. It's like 8 miles across, but these are the ones that they can actually produce fairly quickly. We have some lightning with it, but not a ton. Oh, actually, no, it's actually perked up again. So 55 strikes. We were at 33 here about 15 minutes ago. Let me see. I'm just checking some things. Going through the motions and seeing what we got here. It's not showing much on the hail. Actually, I know what we'll do. We're going to look at the information here on this cell. 90% chance for hail. Whoops. Severe hail, 30%. That's an inch or larger in diameter. BTI is 3.7. That's on a scale of 1 to 10. And it was actually up above 6 earlier. So that was when I was thinking this might actually produce pretty quickly. And that was when it was out in Texas. So this is still in Texas, and it's something we're going to be watching as that tornado warning continues for southwestern Sabine Parish. So that's just kind of a waiting game at this point. So let me see. Yep, still nothing confirmed. But I'm switching over to the Shreveport weather office because they will be taking over on this one. They've got that tornado warning, expires at 12:45, so another 23 minutes on this one as these storms continue toward the north and maybe a little bit west of north. But yeah, that mesoscale discussion's in effect. We have the watch that's coming out. Tornado watch is coming out for parts of the area. I don't know if it'll include Rapides. What I think it will include is Sabine, Natchitoches, Vernon, Beauregard. There it is. I should have drawn it myself. There's your tornado watch. This tornado watch goes until 7 p.m. Natchitoches, Sabine, Vernon, and Beauregard Parish. So we got that right. Not Rapides, not Allen, Grant, and Wynn, but you're right on the border. It's not like you cross the border and there's this magical beam that says no tornadoes here, though I think the chance is going to be a lot less as you head toward the east. These storms are going to continue to kind of funnel toward the north over the next several hours. So that watch goes until 7. That makes sense. I get that. That's a 6.5 hour watch. That's about standard. Let me just take a look down. I'm going to go to the Lake Charles radar and see how these storms are behaving, if we're getting rotation in those. And yeah, seeing that out there, but it looks like most of this is going to be in our western tier of parishes or into Texas, as this is going to continue to kind of pump up from the south to the north. So not much of an eastward progress there. I may go out and chase a little bit. I don't know. I didn't plan on it, but you know what? These things do happen. Let me see. That would all depend on if Tom is ready to be in the chair and get on the air. All right. Looks a little bit less impressive on the reflectivity scan. Velocity looks a little less impressive too, so this is what we want to see. Let me see something. I actually want to check I just want to see. Every sounding, every atmospheric profile I've been looking at today just did not look quite this. I didn't think we were going to be dealing with this. So I want to see what's happening. And I'm just forecasting as I go here. I'm waiting for it to load. Okay. Yeah, so there's a nice southeasterly flow at the surface, but it only kind of bends to the south, so there's not a ton of turning. Storm relative helicity, that's how we measure that low-level turning. It's not really high, but in the low levels, there is just enough turning to where we are having these issues with these storms. Instability, it's meager, but it's there. And the good news is right now, this one looks like it is weakening just a little bit. So that is a great sign. There's your reflectivity coming up toward the dam. I'm going to actually look at the Manny camera on my own because I'm thinking, yeah, it's just under this. It's under one of these cells right now. So that is not going to, we're not going to see anything. It looks pretty windy there, though. Yeah, it's just cloudy. Cloudy and windy and rainy, so not seeing anything worth talking about on that. Let me see if we have an update on this watch. Nothing yet, but that tornado, I'm sorry, on that warning. Tornado watch is in effect until 7 p.m. Natchitoches, Sabine, Vernon, and Beauregard Parish. And this is the southern end of Toledo Bend right here. Wish we had a camera on the dam there. We'd have a real good view of this thing. But as it stands right now, rotation looks a little bit more broad. Let me look at the Lake Charles site. We like to see different levels. Yeah, I don't see a tight rotation near the surface, but certainly something that we are watching closely. Notice how the colors flip as we go to a radar that would be seeing this storm differently from the north as opposed to the south. So that toward and away, they get a little different there on the radar scans. But that is your storm right now. Looks like that southern flank's kind of gusting out. Possibly could cycle again. We'll be watching that one and all these cells down here. So the closer you are to the Texas border, your higher chance for severe weather will be. Looks like we got a new scan there. So let's go on in and take a look. Looks similar on reflectivity, velocity. Let's just go over the last half hour. And it looks like it's, again, you can see how earlier it was kind of tighter. It was right near that center where we had that rotation. Now we're several miles across on the rotation, and we're only at this point about 2,100 feet up in the sky. So getting a pretty good picture of this low-level rotation as it's about to move up over Toledo Bend. Obviously, if you are out there on the lake today, get off. Not a good day to be there. You knew that because it's windy. Rain falling the entire length of the lake, but things are going to change quickly with this storm, and it also could contain half-dollar-sized hail. So I have not seen reports on that yet, but looking at radar, that would not surprise me. I'm looking to see if I have any new ones. Yep, tornado watch is out until 7 p.m. So that's what we have going on with all this. A little bit surprising to see this today, but there's that little farm of storms down in Texas that's going to mostly stay to our west, but it has created this tornado watch, or created the environment that created the tornado watch. And yes, we are still going to get rain here in Alexandria, but it looks like these waves of supercells are going to stay just to our west. So some good news locally. If you need the rainfall, it's still coming. It's just going to come a little bit later and then into the overnight, I think. That's the way it's looking now. It's still looking kind of scattered throughout the day tomorrow. Tornado warning now, if you're just tuning in, this is for Sabine Parish. Let me see. I'm sorry, I hadn't had the comments up. Let's see. Not seeing any action on the Toledo camera right now. I'll show y'all. I mean, if you want to see it, that's what they're there for. I'll show you what our view is right now. That's not it. There we go. Ooh, that's a different cell, but I'm going to go ahead and move the camera because that looks kind of spooky. Come on. Yeah, I don't. That's just a CLC, creepy looking cloud. Let's see. It gonna rain? You right? When will we see some rain in Ball? A little later on. Is it gonna hit Burr Ferry? I think it's gonna stay west of you in Burr Ferry. Let's see. Waiting to see if this camera decides to update. It takes it about that long. So about 20-second delay on that. Watching that little cell there, that would be just south-southwest of the radar. So let me see. That's probably this thing we're looking at. We're looking through that one. I'll keep it up here and see if anything, because you never know if something weak like that would drop a little water spout on the lake. Not seeing any turning in that one, but it looks like the rotation could be tightening up again just west of Haddon's, just north of the dam, near Fairdale, Texas, and then Clare, Louisiana, Toro down the line. I'm sorry, Toro, I think you're actually past this one. No, Toro's up there. Okay. So it's going to stay to your west. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I have this up and I'm watching that weird cloud. And if we get something to come out of that, well, of course, we will show you. Let's go with the reflectivity, see what's going on here. Supercell, mini supercell thunderstorm. That's the word of the day. These look like small storms, but they're certainly something to keep a close eye on, and you know we will be. And I want to set up the Natchitoches camera actually to be looking southwest. Got my presets on them, so I just click southwest and boom, there it goes. But yeah, that storm is not going to be of consequence right there. But let's go back. I'm going to look at, okay, that's another radar scan. We'll get into that in just a second. I'm going to pull this one back up so I can see what's going on with that. It's definitely a creepy looking cloud over Toledo Bend, but it does not look like it is something that is going to cause problems. But I'm going to keep an eye on it. So that tornado warning goes until 12:45. Let me see the velocity. And yeah, that looks like right west of the lake. So still in Texas there near Hickory Ridge and Fairdale, southwest of Toro by several miles, but possibly impacting areas right along the western bank of Toledo Bend. This tornado warning, or this tornado warned storm, continues to track almost due north. Just looking at all my stuff here. And that's too far south. So you see, so that looks like, okay, we might have debris here, but when I circle this and then we go back and look at the velocity, you can see that velocity signature, it's up here. So it's not co-located with that. If that were under this, I'd be much more concerned. But a tornado warning does continue for southwestern Sabine Parish, southeastern Sabine County, Texas. And I am keeping an eye on the camera just in case one of these other cells tries to misbehave. But you can see here, most of the area right now is totally dry. That's why we only have, let's see how many of you in here, 151. If this thing was 50 miles further east, we'd have 1,000 of you in here or more. But is it time to get off Cane River? I mean, it's kind of windy, but I think you're good for a while. Just keep an eye on to your south and southwest. Lost audio? Oh, you should have it here. I wish there was a camera on the dam also. Trust me, I'm working on getting some partners to build a much wider network. So that's trying. Trust me. They're not cheap, though. So I have to have some help there. Storm relative. Ooh, that really ramped up. So now we're going to circle that. We're going to go back over, take a look at that debris, and we don't have any, so good. But I just wanted to highlight that area so then I can go back and I'm not seeing, this here, again, looks scary, but that's probably some stuff on the inflow side, birds, bugs, leaves, whatever. But no, I don't see this as a signature that we have a tornado on the ground. But there is your velocity signature that is quite strong. Let's go to Lake Charles. This is how we do it. We just kind of bounce around. Very clear rotation stacked up to about 10,000 feet in this storm, but it looks like at this point, at least it is not on the ground. I have like 19 different things to check here, so I'm not sure. Checking now. Okay. I'm just making sure because I know the National Weather Service, sometimes they will get stuff a little bit faster. So I just want to make sure we're not, I'm not missing anything, like any confirmation or anything like that. So we still have our tornado warning until 12:45. No updates on anything. But let's see with that circle on this when it will, when it updates where this is going. I'm still watching this camera at Toledo Bend though. That cloud, and you can watch it on the app or on the cenlaweather.com. I see rain coming in behind it. I'll time-lapse this later and see if there was any weak rotation in it. I don't think it will be something like that, but I am scanning back over toward the bridge to just keep following it. You can see what I'm talking about. Just a kind of a low-hanging cloud. Sometimes these do spin up real quick for a little water spout over open water like that, but not seeing it now. That really did jump up again. So let's take the circle off. We know where the rotation is. Let me go with base velocity here and show you that when we go in and look at the wind on this, whoops. So when I go in and look at wind speeds, 36 miles per hour versus 46. So 80 plus miles per hour of rotational velocity there right as it crosses onto the lake. That's not what I'm looking at on the camera right now. In fact, that thing looks a lot more ragged and diffuse. So I'm going to move the camera back to where we are actually watching that, that storm coming in from the south. That camera is right up. Let me show you. So it's basically here. So our view, I see the storm on the southern horizon here. I just don't see the base. And unfortunately, this camera is not one of those. It's like 100 feet up, though the view is pretty open over the lake, of course. Let me go and measure this. So from Alliance down to the rotation is about 20 miles, was 34 miles when we started. So it's moving quickly, but not close enough to see anything with this kind of environment. But let's go ahead and show you over the last half hour how this has tightened up again. So it looked kind of messy, and you know what? Sometimes this stuff moves so fast. Let's just do this. So I can just kind of walk you through it. And it looked like it was kind of turning messy, and oh, maybe it's going away. And then a couple of scans as this thing approaches the lake, and in the last 10 minutes, you can really see, boom, 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 that rotation has increased. This is now, the rotation is crossing the bank into the water. We'll see if that has any sort of effect. I don't really think it will, though, because the inflow was coming in over that water. So if there was going to be much of an impact, it probably would have happened. This is riding along the eastern edge of this tornado warning. So if you are in the western side of this, you're good. You know, on these western coves or arms of the lake out into Texas, looking pretty good. But that rotation is right over the lake right now and moving up toward the northeast, perhaps. Maybe this did take a little bit of a waggle onto the east there. Let's see. Yeah. All right, so that camera is set and watching, and I am just refreshing to see if I get any updates on the warnings or if anyone has any sort of confirmation or anything on this storm. Beauty of it is we don't have to break into programming, so I am not ruining Jeopardy or whatever you might be wanting to watch, the NCAA tournament or anything. We can just talk weather here, and you can tune in or out as you please. So that's the big game in town. No other warnings right now, but looking, and I'm just kind of waiting on another scan. I don't need to just continue to hammer that home, but because it's not imminently over people right now, but we're seeing a little bit of rotation in each of these cells as they continue on toward the north. That was the Lake Charles radar. Let's look at the velocity on that. Let's go storm relative because that's what we're more familiar with right now. Just southwest of Toro. I think it stays just west of you, but you might want to seek shelter. And you know, I know Toro is not just right there, that little where it says Toro. You might have a mailing address for a town that's, you know, 8 miles away. So if you're on the eastern bank of Toledo Bend, north of the dam, and you're all the way up toward Clare and Esto, you want to seek shelter right now as there is some pretty robust rotation. That is now, I'm looking at 2,000 feet above ground level. I think they're probably going to redraw this warning shortly as it's running that eastern side of things. This does expire in 7 minutes, but they're not letting this one go. Okay, no other updates there. And I just like, again, if you're familiar with how I do things, I like to look at about 18 different sources and have my camera up and everything watching. There is another update. It's still looking pretty nasty there. And I am just going to be watching the camera to keep you in the loop on this thing. Oh, it's a raindrop. That's another thing I have to be careful of. Sometimes these raindrops really make it look nasty. Man, I had toyed with the idea of going at this storm, and I thought, oh, no, it's going to go away quickly. But I just might have to go out for a few hours today and see what's going on. But, yeah, that thing is really wrapping up. This looks impressive now. I don't see a correlation coefficient drop, but remember, this is over the water. So we're probably not going to see that drop. We're not going to see that debris because if you're sucking up water, it's not going to look much different. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on this. Hold on one second. Got a message. Let's see this. I'm just going to watch this real quick. This is, someone sent me a video from South Toledo Bend. From the, from an RV park out that way. Creepy looking sky for sure. There's your updated tornado warning. I'll get to that in a second. I mean, you can see the rotation in this thing. I can see the upward motion going into the storm. I can't cross this over to show you at this point, but at the South Toledo Bend RV park near the state park, that's where that is. I'm glad to have eyes on it. If you are in an RV park, especially if you're in a trailer, this is getting to that point where this is a pretty stout warned storm here. So I would definitely treat this one with respect and actually seek shelter. And if you have time to get out of a trailer to a more significant shelter, time to do that as well. This is for Sabine Parish until 1:15. Let me get the latest on this. That is really wrapped up. And like I said, it's over the water. Look at that hook, over the water. So this thing is, if it does drop, it's going to be tough to pick it up because it's not going to be picking up trees. You don't have trees out in the middle of the lake in most cases. And if you do, you don't have leaves. So we're not going to be seeing a lot of the traditional kind of debris signature stuff that we would see. Yeah, that's not debris. That's just, looks like a little lowering of something there right over the lake. But I think, again, that could probably be inflow. So let me read you the text on the warning. Let's get to that. 12:38 p.m. Tornado warning for south central Sabine Parish in northwestern Louisiana, southeastern Sabine County, and eastern Texas. This storm now is located 15 miles southeast of Hemphill or 45 miles southwest of Natchitoches. It's moving north at 30 miles per hour. Tornado and quarter-size hail is your hazard, and this is going to be near Florine and Columbus. Those are the areas impacted. So Esto, Clare, Rattan, you're in this as well. They didn't put all the cities in there. This looks like it's going to stay just west of Toro, but you're in the warning, so you want to seek shelter. A little bend to the east, and you're going to have problems with this cell. Camera's just gray right now, so whoops, don't do that. Sometimes when I hit the button, it just goes nuts and keeps turning. But I am going to leave that up to monitor. If you are out there in Toledo Bend, yes, dangerous storm approaching Toro, absolutely. So if you are in that area, you're going to want to seek shelter immediately. And if you hear of any damage reports, see any damage firsthand, please do let me know of that as soon as you can. That really helps out and lets me know, okay, this is time to ramp up the messaging and everything. Yeah, okay, I'm just looking at the page to make sure the warnings are going out, and they are. Well, thank you, Miss Tammy. I appreciate that. Yeah, that thing is rotating. These are all moving north. So let's go and take a look at look at everything. Just keep a lookout. Storm relative, still showing a pretty good chunk of rotation here as this thing crosses over the lake. I will show you the camera. It's not going to show much, but that's what I'm looking. I've got this thing pointing due south, and this cell is, the part we want to see is probably 17, 18 miles south of the camera. There goes a duck or something. But yeah, not important. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this, but you see why I don't have it up, because there's nothing to really talk about on that. Let's just go back over to radar. And you can see on radar a very clear hook echo. If you're in Clare, if you live right there, if you have a lake house there, you're probably about to see some quarter-size hail, maybe slightly bigger. 6.8 on the BTI. That was 3.9. This is a big jump. So this is showing me this is in a more favorable area. Per this track, it's near Florine by about 1:12 p.m. Hail size 1 inch. Severe hail chance 40%. Yeah, this is a strong storm, severe storm. So hail is going to be a threat, and then right behind that hail, that's where the potential for a tornado would be, and that's what we're looking at here right now, right on the banks of Toledo Bend, right on the eastern shores there. That is where the worst part of this storm is going to be. Now, our camera Again, it's up here. It's hard to show you. Alliance. Okay. So that camera is right up in here. You take that bridge across on Highway 6. So right when you come off the lake, just readjusting here because I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I need to go a little bit more southeast. All right. I'm just looking at all these storms around here on the camera because that other one had a little base to it, but yeah, that one not as concerning. But you see the one just east of the camera. All right, so to recap, we have a tornado warning in effect for a good chunk of southwestern Sabine Parish. This is going until 1:15. Going back to south. Okay, so that's what we're going to be watching. That's what we're talking about here. If you're just tuning in, we have that cell. And again, this one up to the east of the camera also showing a little bit of rotation. It looks like I have some sort of missing data right in here, and that's kind of frustrating. But what I am seeing here with that, the winds that are moving toward the radar, that is really showing me that there's something going on in there. Let me take a look at the old school Baron button. That's just showing the hail. And that is going to most likely not be debris because that looks like it's too far to the west. Velocity. Yeah, that's too far west, so that little blip out there was nothing. But you can really see that hook echo. This thing's in close to the radar, so we are about 1,800 feet up now. Little bounded weak echo region. That's a technical term for you. Just shows me that there are weaker echoes around that rotation. This is from Lake Charles. We're seeing rotation, but what matters to us right now is what's going on in the low levels. Let's see. Looks like it's detached, but that's probably, you know, that's still just envision that as a hook with that velocity signature that we're seeing right now as it crosses up across the eastern banks of Toledo Bend. This is right. Like if we're going in to show you streets, Ferguson Road, Lakeside Loop, community of Rattan and Clare. If you are anywhere near Ferguson Road where that intersects with, whoops, what highway is that? 171 or no, 171's further east. I just have to get down here, and I don't know why the highways do that. I'm going to have to fix that. I'm going to figure this out for you, though. Someone will say it in the chat, but no, unfortunately, I don't know every single highway. But we're going to find out. It looks like we are looking at 191 that runs up to Toro, and then 191 continues. So this is 191 right here. So along Highway 191, Clare to Rattan, that's where the worst of this storm is right now. And you can kind of see, I'll show you on the camera now, you can see the edge of the rainfall on this thing. And it looks creepy, but it's not, this isn't the tornado or anything. You can see it like right there. Looks scary, but that is not a confirmed tornado. But we do have eyes on the right part of the storm, and we will be continuing to watch that as this rotation comes up. And yeah, we just have some kind of bad data there on the right side of this. But man, oh man, is that thing spinning in the low levels. Spinning down to about 2,000 feet. So I am monitoring any source I have for the confirmation on this. So far, thankfully, not seeing that. I did get a video in from South Toledo Bend, and that did look pretty interesting. But it did not look like we had a tornado on the ground as that was happening, and they were very close to it. I could see the rotating part of the storm, but I did not see a tornado on the ground. But that's what it looks like right now. Definitely a little scary, but I'm thinking that's just the side of a rain shaft right there. So let's go back to radar. We should have another scan in by now, perhaps. No, I don't think we do, but that's okay. We're still going to take a look at things and just kind of keep on scanning through stuff, see what's happening. This is where your bad data is, where it just goes to that tornado watch. We just mute that. So there still would be reds in here because we have those greens that are kind of out of place. So that shows me that rotation continues. Let me go ahead and you can see that we lost a little bit of that data, but still see, okay, we got it back now. Still some strong rotation there just west of, between Clare and Rattan. So if you're there up toward Esto, Des, Florine, you're not in the clear. I think you're going to be further east to where you're not going to be dealing with this, but it's certainly something that you're going to want to keep an eye on. And I have that camera up right now, and it is aimed toward this storm. So if you want to check that out, that's on the app, that's on the app, and that's on the website. My goodness. Yeah, winds out there only 2 miles per hour. Peak today at 28. Tornado warning continues, and I'll probably end up just looking at the site. I'm trying to make sure I have it pointed the right way. But yeah, it's creepy looking out there for sure right now. I mean, let's go back and I'll show you, because this is, I think, this is certainly has enough value to show you what's happening. There's that hard edge to this storm. Most likely a rain shaft. I don't see any sort of wrapping rain curtains or anything like that. But it's still most likely about 15 miles from the camera, so we're probably not going to get that much detail on this thing. But that is what we're looking at on this tornado-warned storm that is now over Toledo Bend. This is on the south end of the lake. If you're way up north, you're under the tornado watch, but you're not in this warning right now. This warning is primarily for southwestern Sabine Parish. The Texas side of the warning, you're in the clear for this storm. But there's the rotation now on radar. I'm looking back at my cameras. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a time lapse over the last few minutes just because. And that way, when you speed things up, it's really easy to see what's happening. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a 5-minute time lapse. That should be loaded quickly. And then I will let you know what I'm seeing. Actually, let me see one thing, if I can do something. I'm just adding something in this if I do see something cool or useful. I don't know why I say cool, but that's, you know how we roll. Okay. Okay. No, we don't want that. So we have the tornado warning continuing. I'm just trying to add something in here. Window display, window capture, that's what we want. Window capture, we're gonna go to select a window. All right, hold on. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, that's just the camera. So if I do get the time lapse and it looks like something we want to show you, that's what we'll do. Let me shrink it down a bit so it's not blocking me. Yeah, and then I'm just going to get rid of it. Huh, magic. All right, so tornado warning continues until 1:15 for Sabine Parish. This storm, now we've cut the Texas part of the warning out. That tornado warning continues across southwestern Sabine. Nothing confirmed on it. It has not started flashing purple, so that's good news. And this storm has really held its own. That's the crazy thing. This thing has, come on. I see a boat. At least he's going back to the dock, it looks like. People are crazy. It's like my dad. He used to do that. But strong rotation with this cell, and we are going to have quite the view of it as this comes up over the lake. Let me just move things once again. Yeah, it's that's an interesting look to things. Again, nothing confirmed yet, but this cell is going to come basically right over the camera, and it looks like it's holding its own. So I'm going to keep a very close watch on that. Yeah, we're not going to go into that part of it. We're going to stay on this side of the storm. Just getting rid of any windows I can. Okay, so tornado warning until 1:15. There's your velocity scan with that strong rotation between Clare and Rattan. And we're really just kind of maintaining strength on this thing and not seeing real signs of weakening. And then those storms out to the west, the good news is, if you want to look at any good news, I know we have the tornado watch, I know we have this warning, but just some small snippet of good news here. some heavy rain out here, but these cells appear to be a little more junky. They aren't out ahead. We always talk about that storm that's running way out ahead of things. And in this case, this storm right here is the one that kind of developed on the eastern side, had its own atmosphere to go with, and that's why we are watching this one so carefully. All right, I am going to see if my time lapse is ready, and then we will probably just watch that together. Actually, I'm gonna watch it because I don't want to bore you if it's terrible. All right, open file. I'll bring y'all in on this. I'm just sitting here looking. It's not that fast of a time lapse. Whoops. Hold on. Oh, dang it. It's the wrong thing. Media player. Okay, there we go. So this is what I'm watching here. That's that edge of the storm. You can kind of see the clouds out there. This is going to be... That's that edge that I believe is just a rain shaft there. Looks interesting, but I don't see any rotation in that. So, yeah, it's just I wanted to speed things up a bit and take a look at that, and I figured, hey, I'd show you as well. So that is what we have there. We have a tornado warning continuing. So if you are in Florine, Fisher, and Manny, you're not in the tornado warning, but you're going to want to go ahead and seek shelter. This warning goes until 1:15, and I would not be stunned at all to see that extended. So they canceled the Texas part. Let's see. We decided to go downstream with the tornado warning. All right. So the tornado warning continues. Does not look like anything confirmed. Not seeing any reports of that. So some great news there. Let me see. What do we have? You live in Esto. You are probably... did you see hail? Yeah, Highway 191. Thank y'all. Y'all were there. No, there's not much signal in that area. Yeah, I wish you could too. Yeah, send me a message. If you want to message it to me, that would be awesome. Esto, are you seeing hail? I know I've got multiple folks in Esto here, and so I'm wondering what we're getting on this when we have the pinks coming over. Let's put it in motion over the last half hour. Looks like a little pulse up in the reflectivity. That's going to bring more hail if you are seeing any. And there's that hook. We left for Pirates. Yeah, it's Negrete, Des, Florine, Gandy. Gandy's probably east of this. But down the road, Fisher and Manny, you're going to want to keep an eye on this one as this tornado warning cell persists. It's been going on for, I don't know, like an hour now. I'm going to have to end up looking toward the southeast on this, so I am going to just go ahead and... aim this camera that way. Okay. Camera set. We have a tornado warning continuing until 11:15 for Sabine Parish and adjacent parts of Toledo Bend Reservoir. If you are out on the lake, like the guy I just saw coming back in, it's time to get back in. It's definitely not worth it to be out there, but that is a hook echo on this cell, and we were getting some weird little contamination on the radar, but now seeing some solid rotation out of this as this continues on toward the north, maybe a little bit east of north. It's off the lake now, though, and that camera is up here, so this is going to pass just east of the camera up toward Manny. So if you are in Manny, Fisher, Florine, I know you're not in the warning. You need to seek shelter, though, and be ready for that. This is still the only tornado warning out of all this, and I really think this is just going to become more of a rain blob. Not this cell so much, but that stuff out west. I'm hot, though. Sweatshirt's coming off. All right. Okay, tornado warning continues. Cameras are set. Not much to add right now. I mean, this if you're in this area, there's a nice little updated scan, but if you are... in Esto, you're probably seeing the heavy rain and hail. Des Road, Prospect Road, Rogers Road, Pine Ridge Avenue. If I'm calling out streets that are familiar to you, you are in the worst area. That doesn't mean there's definitely a tornado. In fact, from what I'm seeing, we don't have one yet. Here's the deal. Here's the problem. If I'm not seeing anything, yes, I'm seeing things on the inflow side, but if I'm not seeing debris, that doesn't mean there's not a tornado, because you have to get the debris lofted, which means there has to be a tornado. So that's a delayed thing here. That is a delayed indicator. So it takes a couple of minutes, and it takes that scan of 4 minutes to actually see that. And that's why I like having cameras to watch this stuff. It just gives us another tool in the toolbox to see what's happening here. Nothing in view on camera right now, but this storm is now, let's see how far roughly from the camera. We're about 13 miles. It's going to be moving up this way. Probably at its closest pass, it's going to be about 5 or 6 miles. So I don't know if we'll see anything, but we are going to be watching it. Hopefully we don't see anything, because that means that the storm is weakening, because right now we actually do have a tornado warning on this, and we have pretty strong rotation. So we'll see what they do when this warning's up for renewal, which I think is going to be at 1:15. See if they have any plans posted in here. No updates. All right, let me go back to the comments, see if anybody answered. Very little hail. Okay, makes sense. Is the heavy stuff saying mostly west of Leesville? Yeah, right now. Very little hail. Okay, good. Hail has started. Let me know how big, if possible. I mean, don't go out and pick it up. I'm just saying, if you see it out the window or anything like that, I would love to know a little bit more. Let's look at reflectivity, which is just showing you the rain. No, Leesville, Fort Johnson, you're good. I mean, for now, this stuff is all going to eventually slowly kind of work to the east. You can see here these little elements, these low-level elements. That's showing you a southeasterly flow, and these storms moving toward the north, maybe a little bit east of that. So just enough turning there, with probably about 40 degrees of turning in the lowest 5,000 feet of the atmosphere, 30 or 40 degrees. And that's going to give you enough rotation with these storms to possibly see something touch down. So Manny, if you're in Manny, if you're in Fisher, if you're in Florine, you need to seek shelter. Don't have the warning yet. Might not even have one, but this storm has not produced yet, but it looks like it at least has been trying to over the last half hour or so, and you can see a very visible rotation right there. I'll go back to the camera, because whenever I pause like that, I'm looking at that and trying to kind of diagnose what's happening. I don't see any sort of real crazy motion or chaos going on in there. You just saw a flash of lightning, though. We're looking kind of southeast right now. And I'm just going to try to kind of stay on that southern flank of this storm as best I can. But as it stands right now, I cannot confirm or deny anything that's happening there, but we have the camera pointed the right way. See, dew point's around 67 right now. Temp is 70. So that's enough that's just enough instability, that warmth and that moisture in the low levels to give us this chance for a tornado from this storm. And we have that tornado warning continuing until 1:15. Tornado and quarter-sized hail, the main threats. Thank you, Kendra. I appreciate it. Calm and rattan, nice. Hey, Mackenzie, you should be out there storm chasing. Hail has started. Yeah, just let me know if you have any sort of reports like that. And if you can give me location and any specifics, that is definitely very welcome. But that is a pretty scary looking sky. And I'm just going to be moving the camera with all this, and we'll see what's happening. We're looking toward the southeast, toward that point from the bridge. I will probably end up shifting this thing toward the east, toward the roadway here in a little bit, and hopefully we won't lose too much of this with the trees and things like that. Let's go back to radar, see what we have there. I have the camera up here, so I will let you know if something is worth talking about. Doesn't look quite as stout as it did. We are 2,100 feet up. So now we're getting further away. There's your radar site. So we kind of made our closest pass to radar. Now we're going to head up toward Manny where that radar, we're going to be shooting higher up into the storm. So it's not like you're seeing the same level constantly. It's a slow change, but when you each scan are moving up like 50 to 100 feet in the sky, you're losing a little bit of your integrity on these things. So, I'm just going to go, and I see a little bit of rotation there north of Manny. I'm just going to go take a look toward the northeast and see if I see anything, and then I'm going to go right back to where I was. No, don't see a thing. But that is a pretty wild sky on the camera right now in Manny. Pretty hard edge to the back of that storm. All right, reflectivity. That's your storm. That's the main storm. This is coming right up over Manny. I don't know if they are going to reissue this one or not. But a tornado warning continues for southwestern Sabine Parish. If you're near this warning, You need to seek shelter. Yeah, Rattan, you're in the clear. Claire in the clear as well. Des, you're right now probably in about the worst spot. Esto, it should be quieting down very quickly out there. But if you are right now watching from Prospect Road, Jones Road, 171. I mean, it's going to cross 171 here fairly shortly, probably somewhere between Fisher and Manny. Let's go ahead and just kind of take us through the last 15 minutes, see the track on this. There's a little bit of an eastward lean toward this. So I think around Manny is probably when this is going to cross, because obviously 171 comes back to the left there toward the west, and this is going to cross sometime here in the next probably 15, 20 minutes. Forward speed at last check moving north at 30 miles per hour. Right now this is 13 miles from Manny. It is about 10 miles from the camera site, and we're probably going to get our closest pass here in the next 15 minutes or so. I am watching it, not seeing anything crazy with it. But if you are in Sabine Parish, western Sabine Parish, especially west of 171 for now, you are under a tornado warning. But that's encouraging. They just went to a severe thunderstorm warning. So that means they're seeing that this probably is not as strong as it once was. Let me see if I agree, because we can agree to disagree. It's still there. I mean, you know, the nice thing is we've had no reports of tornadoes yet with this. So hopefully as this thing continues to the north, loses a little bit of instability, we see a little bit of improvement in this one. But right now that rotation near Des, again, I like to clear areas out. So while this doesn't clear you for the day, if you're in Esto, Rattan, and Claire, you're just about out of this. Claire and Rattan, you're out of it. Esto, it's just about out. It's moving. It's going to end very quickly too. So once this thing gets on through, that is going to probably shut down in the span. You're going to go from like heavy rain and hail to nothing, maybe in a minute or two. It looks like we had another update come in there, but storms out to the west forming more into a line. I think that's going to develop into more of a possible flooding threat. The tornado warning continues for Sabine Parish for a few more minutes, but then I think we go to a severe thunderstorm warning with this thing. So that means that tornado warning is likely going to go away for a bit. Now, when that happens, I do have to leave. I had some stuff I had planned today to get taken care of, but I will have Tom on board, and if he can't, well, I'm going to just cancel those plans, and I'll be here. But I don't think we're going to see a ton of warnings. Now, once this thing gets out of here through Sabine Parish, I mean, looking to the west, yes, there are some storms out there, but I think this first one really showed us kind of the worst case scenario, and hopefully that worst case did not bring any sort of tornado. I haven't seen any proof of that yet. But they've downgraded this, if you're just tuning in, to a severe thunderstorm warning, so some great news there. Let's see, Esto's done. Anyway, you can fix the volume. Your phone is turned up and you can't hear anything. It looks, I'm up in the yellow. I mean, that's, yeah, I know I do have some audio issues from time to time. Let me just go to the advanced audio. Okay, let me try this out. And that is about all I can do. I don't want to make it too crazy, so it's like really noisy and sounds terrible. But yes, that should be a little bit better. Jasper, you are in the storms. You are not, none of that's really rotating. So that's where I think you're going to see more heavy rain out of this. We could possibly see some flooding issues. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last 3 hours of rainfall. Not seeing much yellow, maybe one little 2-inch blip there north of Lumberton, between Lumberton and Jasper. But so far that's been pretty tame as well. Past 6 hours, yeah, we're not seeing much different. So I'm going to stick with you until they cancel this tornado warning. Then I will step out of here for a bit and hopefully not have to come back. Wouldn't that be nice? Let me not forget about my camera. Ooh, that's kind of scary looking. It doesn't look like a tornado, but you can really see the hard edge to this. I'm not just going to leave you in the lurch here. There you go. That is pretty interesting. And if you know what, you just briefly, I'm going to take off, whoops, don't want to take off everything. There we go. I'll leave that up. We're going to take everything else off. That way we get a full screen of it. But you can see going, this is the Toledo Bend camera if you just tuned in. You can see that kind of hard edge to the storm right there. I don't really see much of a base because we're kind of right at the trees. That's why I love the ones on the radio towers and stuff like that. We can see over this. But yeah, it's a creepy looking sky if you're heading across that bridge into Louisiana from Texas. Let's move it just a hair. And I'm just doing this just to kind of keep pace with it because that's kind of how it's moving. So that's going to take a little while to come in, but I'm going to just revert back to my old frame and we will go into just a quick look at the HRRR so I can show you the high res, the latest stuff, the latest forecast throughout the day. And you can see a lot of this heavier stuff stays west of Alexandria per this model. I still think we're going to get storms in here and we'll see them possibly even forming overnight. But the threat for severe weather, like I said earlier, I still think it's pretty low, but it only takes one like we're seeing with this cell right here to cause some problems. Now, this cell and this environment prompted a tornado watch, well, a tornado warning, but it did prompt this tornado watch to come out for Natchitoches, Sabine, Vernon, and Beauregard Parish until 7 p.m. Volume's good? Okay, cool. We should be good now, I think. When will this all be over? That's the million-dollar question because we're just going to have waves of this for the next, week. It's not continuous, but we have this today and tonight into early tomorrow, scattered stuff tomorrow, another round of severe stuff Sunday night into Monday morning, and then possibly something Wednesday. I really think that one's gonna be delayed a little bit more, like Thursday or Friday. But yeah, it's gonna end sometime around June, I think. No, tongue in cheek, but seriously, this is the time of year where we have just, the chance for severe weather is gonna continue on and on. It looks like, every so often, every few days, we'll just get waves of that stuff. Let me just see how these storms down here are behaving. They're looking like they are well behaved. That is still up here southwest of Manny for Florine and Fisher. That is our main cell right there. So if you are in those areas under the severe thunderstorm warning, there is a tornado possible, but that is kind of all we have going on right now. This is the only game in town. And that tornado warning goes for 5 more minutes, but I think they will get rid of that. So let's see. Yeah, they're going downstream. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, and watching some rotation in deep East Texas. So some of these storms out here, they'll be keeping an eye on those as well. All right, I'm going to get out of here. This thing is now a severe thunderstorm warning. That tornado warning is going to go away because this is out of it. I will be watching things, and I'll go live from the car if needed. Tom will be around. We're going to keep you covered, you know that. But I'm going to get out of here for now. Didn't expect to live stream this much today, but that's what we're here for. I'll see you back here later at some point.
No matter the weather, Alexandria Emergency Hospital is always here for you. Rain or shine, our doors are open 24/7 to provide the care you and your loved ones need fast. Every second counts, and Alexandria Emergency Hospital is here to help you.